This is a Misfit Nation production.
You want to be a friend of the cartel?
Ladies and gentlemen, making their way to the studio, they are the most dangerous podcast in sports entertainment. Crishaun the Don and Wunda from Kayfabe Kartel.
You're staying. You belong to the cartel now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most dangerous podcast in sports entertainment. The Kayfabe Kartel. Yeah, I'm on my own. I had to do it by myself. Intro isn't as hot without Wunda, I'll be honest. But I am here. Wunda could not make it tonight. But I'm here to do a quick little recap of Money in the Bank 2024. And you know what? I'll just get right into it. No small talk, no banter, no promo. I'm not going to promo my ex at Crishaun the Don. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to promo my other channel at Misfit Nation on YouTube. We don't have time for that. It's late. Money in the Bank happened yesterday. You're all sitting on the edge of your chairs wondering what I thought about it. I know. I understand. I'm here to tickle your fancy, wet your beak on your kayfabe content, your Kayfabe Kartel content. And I'm going to talk about this PLE that just happened, Money in the Bank. Now I'm going to stress this cuz this night there was a common theme that I felt, and it was that I'm going to stress that I'm a story guy. I love story. I think wrestling is all about storylines. Honestly, I think if you're watching wrestling and you're enjoying it, not having a story, I think you're a fucking idiot. I think that's not pro wrestling. You're watching two men fake fight for no goddamn reason, and that makes you a fucking idiot if you enjoy that. That's probably the nicest way I could put that. So whenever I watch a wrestling show, I'm looking for storyline. I'm looking for something to intrigue me, to make me care about why these two people are having a fake fight and why I should be invested in that. So, it's like watching a movie fight without the story. It's like they're just being fights in a movie and there not being any context to it. How can you enjoy that when you know it's predetermined? You know that nobody's actually getting hurt. I know wrestling's different. I know people actually get hurt. I know there's some realism to it. I know there's a difference. But the fact that it's predetermined, why are we watching it? That's all it is. It's very simple. Now, I'm starting to realize that WWE PLEs are no longer the place where you should, or the shows that you should expect any storyline to be told. Really, all except for one match throughout the whole night was there any story told. Other than that, zero story progression. Nothing happened. All this buildup and nothing really happened storyline wise. The in-ring tonight or last night was pretty good. Certain matches were better than others, but as far as stories, you got nothing. Other than Punk and Drew, that's pretty much the only storyline progression we got. But I'll go through the match card in order to some degree here. So let's start. And remember, if you're not a story guy, this is probably not the show for you. Move the fuck on. But I'm going to stress a lot tonight about storyline. So, Money in the Bank, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. We had all of the competitors in there. I'll just say this right off the top. Gable and Andrade, and I'm not a fan of Andrade. I've never been. I think he's a bore fest. He's been kind of being doing a little bit better on promos, I'd say, but not not too much. He's showing a little bit of character at least. However, Gable and Andrade were the stars of the match. I thought they were amazing. They were giving it their all. They were probably involved in the best spots of the night. That neck breaker onto the ladder standing up from LA Knight to Chad Gable was amazing. I mean, it was pretty. It looked painful. First off, it looked like LA Knight got the brunt of that bump because he landed like right on the edge of the bottom of the ladder. But yeah, it was a really nice creative kind of bump. I don't think I've seen the ladder used in that way that many times, if any. I also thought the Drew McIntyre fucking lawn darting the ladder to I think it was Jey Uso on the top of the ladder, and he just fucking throws it right into his face, missiles it right to him. I thought that was a great spot. Made Drew look like a monster. Drew looked like a fucking monster in that match. And him winning I thought was great. But yeah, I thought the match flowed very well. I thought all the spots flowed into each other very well. It didn't have the goofy fucking everybody bunches up and waits for the guy to jump on them. It didn't have all that. You didn't see people like, people were actually selling in this match. They take a big bump and they'd be out for a minute, and or they'd be just laying outside. They didn't quickly recover just to get ready for the next spot. That AEW horseshit, that indie nonsense. So yeah, that I really liked the Money in the Bank. I really liked the flow of it. I like that Drew won. Now I'll get to my critique. No storyline. No storyline was told in any of it, really. And we had this big buildup where we were sort of speculating, would the Wyatt Six get involved because of the Chad Gable and Jey Uso thing, and were they going to actually target Jey Uso? And we had all of these great ideas, and we were speculating, and we were actually very intrigued to see. And I was intrigued going into the match. It was one of the more intriguing matches to me, storyline wise. And nothing, zero, no Wyatt Six, no nothing. It was a match. It was a match that happened. But I assume the storyline was Drew McIntyre tonight. However, I think that's I'm not gonna let them off the hook with just saying hey, it was all about Drew tonight. We have to focus on Drew. I get it. You don't want the Wyatt Six to take all the shine, but why not? Why not? I would assume you'd want everybody to get all the shine that they could. Drew McIntyre would have got the shine even with a Wyatt Six interference or some kind of storyline progression with that at all. And the fact is building up to Money in the Bank, it was entangled into the Money in the Bank storyline. So I thought I thought it was Triple H again being lazy, baby step, bitch ass booking by Triple H. We're gonna save this. PLEs are all exhibition. It's all exhibitions. And I get it. Look, the Money in the Bank. I keep getting a lot of people giving me excuses, and I'm tired of the excuses. Well, the story is the Money in the Bank, and it's like, yes, that's the basis of the story, but it's not the story. That's just the match. That's just the tool to tell the story. It's like any other match. Hell in the Cell is a tool to tell a story. You don't just, that's why the Hell in the Cell pay-per-views for the most part failed or they got boring because you're just having Hell in the Cells for Hell in the Cell's sake. You know what I mean? And a Hell in the Cell is supposed to be a blow-off, blood feud type of match. That's what it kind of was created for. Or it was, one of those, this guy keeps getting away or he keeps escaping or having people interfere. So Hell in the Cell, nobody can get in, even though everybody gets in every single fucking match. They really know how to blow their load, don't they? But yeah, no storyline progression, no Alpha Academy, no nothing. And you're going to see, like I said, that is going to be the theme of tonight. But again, the positive, I was happy that Drew won, and that comes into play later on in the card. Getting to this now. This is the Braun Breaker. This Braun Breaker match. And we've been getting hit very hard on our comment section. And I'm not gonna lie, we've been getting the vast majority of people have been disagreeing with me, saying that Braun Breaker isn't resonating or getting really great reactions when he's coming out to the ring. But I it doesn't matter how many people send these messages. It's just gaslighting, because I could see and I can fucking hear, and I'm watching the program, and Braun Breaker isn't getting these massive reactions. I've had people over exaggerate more than anything I've ever seen in my life. And please understand, I'm a big Braun Breaker fan. I have high hopes for him. I think he's great. I think he's amazing in the ring. I just don't I don't think he's resonating, and it's alarming me, because I don't think Triple H is actually booking this guy the way he should be booked. And I'll get into that a little bit. And this match actually is a perfect example of what I've been saying. First off, Braun Breaker comes out again to pretty much no reaction. Literally, I only saw two fat dudes in the front row barking. That's all I saw. People were literally standing still when he came out. It looked like a 2K WWE 2K crowd. Actually, those are now more hype than when Braun Breaker came out. New music. I think the new music sucks more than the other music. And I don't even think the old music was as bad as everybody was saying. I actually listened to it on YouTube, and I was like, it's not the greatest thing. It's a little generic, but it's not like, oh my God, this is why he's not getting over. It's that bad. It's really not. I think people are just making excuses. Again, making excuses because for some reason Triple H is now the greatest booker that ever lived. And if you argue with that, you're an idiot. But yeah, here's another thing is every time a wrestler came out and they got a major reaction, WWE pulled up this little decibel reader thing where it was live and loud, I think it said on it. But yeah, they were pulling that up. Like, for instance, the Seth Rollins match, they pulled that up because the crowd got super loud for him. And they pulled it up a few other times. I can't remember exactly. Maybe Cody or something like that. But if Braun Breaker was really getting these massive, loud reactions, and somebody even told me that the entire arena is barking like DMX concerts. I'm not even joking. That was commented on our video. He's not getting entire crowds barking and reacting to him. Now, when he gets in the ring, when his matches start, people are reacting to him. Yes, I agree with that. And that's because he's a fucking specimen and he's an athletic monster. The problem is that if he's not, and almost anybody in wrestling will tell you this, if he's not getting reactions for his entrance the next week, he's not resonating. And the fact is that every night he has to go out and he has to work to get the crowd to remember him. That's what it is. I don't know what people are really seeing here. But yeah, I also put out a specific challenge to people about this, and I promise you I'm going to get into the match itself. I put out the specific challenge to people on the Braun Breaker videos, and not one person has met the challenge or even attempted. I said, if Braun Breaker is really getting these massive major pops, and there was at some point, and this is all main roster, by the way, I'm talking about. NXT, I'm sure he was getting amazing pops because that crowd is a bunch of trained SEALs who literally go there to get the guys over. And I'm going to get to that also in a minute, the NXT crowd, because I think that's part of the issue. But yeah, I challenged everybody. If he really is getting these major pops and these massive reactions, somebody just direct me to a video or name a time that Braun Breaker on the main roster got some kind of massive pop And I promise you, I will play the clip, even if I get copyrighted or copyright striked. I think that's right. For it, I'll play it and I'll call myself a goddamn idiot. But I know that clip doesn't exist. I know because I've been watching him on the main roster, and he hasn't been his reactions have been going down. Now, the reason why I believe that's happening is because the way that Triple H is booking this guy. Braun Breaker should not be having these 15-minute competitive matches. He shouldn't be having problems beating Dragunov, beating Ricochet, beating Sami Zayn. I don't care about his fucking experience. This is the new guy. This is the new powerhouse. You have to build him. You have to build him right. Now, it's funny because I've been arguing with a lot of people that Braun Breaker isn't really getting the because everybody keeps going, oh, it's the Goldberg push. He's getting the Goldberg push. Just be patient. He's gonna get it's gonna build. He's gonna get the Goldberg. Tell me how losing clean to Sami Zayn on a PLE is anything like the Goldberg push. Tell me how having competitive matches and even winning with competitive matches that are 15 minutes long, how is that the Goldberg push? It's not. Goldberg, first off, didn't even speak for like the first 6 to 8 months, I think, that he was on TV. He would refuse to speak. So they built mystique with him, which they didn't do that with Braun Breaker. They're actually trying to, I would say they're trying to make him more of a mic promo guy, but they're not letting him cut the promos the way, they're not giving him the time because they don't give anybody the time. But yeah, this isn't the Goldberg push. And it's funny because last night at Money in the Bank was the proof. Goldberg didn't lose. So again, how is this the Goldberg push? And how does him losing clean to Sami Zayn in a really competitive match help Braun Breaker whatsoever? And that's all I'm saying is he shouldn't be having problems. Listen, there's a point in the match where Sami Zayn gave Braun Breaker his exploder suplex into the corner. And I looked at that and I was like, that takes Braun Breaker down a fucking peg as far as the psychological side of his booking. It takes him down a peg. He doesn't look like a powerhouse taking an exploder suplex into the corner from Sami Zayn. It's this indie fucking booking. This imaginary world, fantasy world booking that these fucking dumbass fans eat it up. I really don't get it. I really don't get it. But I'm kind of pissed about this because people are looking at this. I actually saw people celebrating this and going, this was great booking. This was great booking. I could even show you the post. Great booking. Braun Breaker spearing Sami Zayn. And they're claiming that's great booking from Triple H. Right here. I don't know if they're being sarcastic, but Braun Breaker spearing Sami Zayn today. Jey Uso and fine-ass Tiffany Stratton wins Money in the Bank today. CM Punk becomes the biggest hater of the year. Best booker and promoter of the year, Triple H. Honestly, tell me how taking a guy who's supposed to be who everybody's perceiving as the next Goldberg and having him lose clean in a big match against Sami Zayn, how is that any different really from a Vince McMahon decision, Vince McMahon booking? How is this any different? I really don't get it. I don't see where this Triple H praise comes from. Now, Sami Zayn was obviously completely over because it was Canada. But yeah, point being, I think they're fucking up Braun Breaker's booking. And we'll see because he changed the music and everybody seems happy about the change. And everybody's been throwing that excuse at me that he's not getting over because his music sucks and it doesn't have a siren when it does have a siren. Every single song he's had has a goddamn siren in it. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But yeah, I think the music sucks more than the music he had before. But I guess because it has lyrics, people think it's better. But yeah, that's that I think it really is gonna take Braun Breaker a few steps back. I'd be surprised if when he came out on Raw on Monday, if he gets less than a reaction. I guarantee you he barely has people barking in that arena. Definitely not like a fucking DMX concert. But yeah, I think Triple H and WWE has to realize that NXT crowd is not a good gauge on what is going to resonate worldwide and what's going to resonate with the masses. I think and I've talked about it before. I've talked about it with Sports Jedi Network, who I was on his watch along last night. But he goes to the NXT tapings a lot, and he tells me that a lot of the times that crowd is so generous that and it's really all the time that they want everybody to get over. That's their mentality. That crowd is that they want everybody to get over. And that's why pretty much everybody on that roster gets cheered. It's because they're this generous kind of they're really trained SEALs where they're trying to create these chants. They're trying to really get themselves over as well. But they're there to get to get the wrestlers over. Sorry. The fans are there with the intention to get them over. So to use that as a gauge isn't going to work because they're going to be over. Everybody's going to be over there. And these are fans that watch, they watch the indies and they probably watch AEW and all that stuff. But they know who these guys are before they get to NXT. So they're watching the indies. But yeah, they have their favorites and they create these chants that a lot of the times don't even cross over to the main roster because people don't know the chants. And there's nothing connected to the person that makes the fans do the chant. It's because it was an NXT thing and they think it's going to cross over. And it's because WWE writes their shows like everybody watches fucking NXT when most of the audience doesn't. Most of them really don't. Look at the numbers. They don't. So yeah, that's where I'm coming from as far as the Braun Breaker thing. Again, I hope he gets over. And I have no doubt that he will at some point, but I get the feeling that Triple H's booking is hindering him in a lot of ways. And people are so high on Triple H that they're not willing to give that criticism. You can't even give criticism to Triple H these days. It's really insane. And it's crazy that Triple H used to be one of the most hated people by the IWC not too long ago. But he's the indie darling now. Okay, so then we got to the John Cena retirement. John Cena comes out making his entrance, a surprise entrance, and then he comes out. And really in the only in a fashion that's as cringe as only John Cena could pull off, he lets down the towel and it says, "The last time is now." But it's John Cena, so we forgive him. We love him and cheer him and boo him anyway, right? The last time is now, and he has this somber John Cena look on his face, and he gives the, "Yep, it is. It is." And then, "Let's go to work, Stu." And then John Cena comes out and basically cuts this sort of, I want to say sort of, I don't want to use the word cryptic because it wasn't cryptic, but this, he wasn't trying to give everything away. I guess that's the best way to put it. But yeah, he comes out and basically sets up that he's retiring, but it doesn't mean that it's like it's over today. He's gonna more or less, he confirmed that he'll be there for the road to WrestleMania, which is Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, and then WrestleMania. And then supposedly the idea is that that's his last WrestleMania, and then he has some kind of thing that carries on after WrestleMania. So that's what he said during the press conference. By the way, go watch that press conference if it's still fucking up, because it was pretty hilarious, because they kept bringing up Vince McMahon to John Cena and Triple H. John Cena tried to field it, but he just, he did all right. He did better than Triple H. Triple H was like, I can't talk about that. Can't talk about it. Come on. And that guy who asked that same question to both of them, who's never going to be at a WWE press conference again. Somebody, I wish I remembered that guy's name. I got to shout him out, because the balls on that dude to put it all on the line and throw away his WWE press pass for good and ask the question that everybody was thinking, that everybody's been thinking. And it was kind of John Cena's fault. He said, hey, ask anything. He was trying to be open book, transparent John Cena. And as soon as he got that Vince question, he kind of took like 2 more questions and beat it. He was like, all right, I fucked up here. But yeah, John Cena will be on the road to WrestleMania 41 for his final run, his final day in the sun, if you will. But he also did confirm that he'll be doing some sort of behind the scenes ambassador kind of work. But he has he said he has no desire once he retires. He has no desire to come back for even like a special guest referee kind of thing. It almost seemed like he doesn't even want to do like any appearances. It's like just all behind the scenes, and maybe, I don't know, maybe some kind of creative. I don't know about that. I made that up. But the he's gonna be some kind of corporate position in WWE after he's gone. Which makes sense. So yeah, we'll be covering the final days of John Cena's career, definitely on this channel. That should be interesting. Okay, let's move on. Me and Wunda should have we'll have a bigger conversation on that in the future, definitely. We'll also have a bigger conversation on most of this stuff. I just wanted to jump on here while it was fresh and talk about this. Okay, let's move on to Seth versus oh yeah, by the way, I think there definitely was a woman's Money in the Bank somewhere in the middle of one of these matches, but I could give a fuck about women's wrestling. The best set of tits won that one. Tiffany Stratton. Good with that. Actually, you know what? Let me be honest. I really did enjoy the women's Money in the Bank. As far as women's Money in the Banks go, I was on the watch along with BX Sports Jedi Network. Go check them out. So I had a little more fun. I usually have more fun watching it with people. But that match, those women actually really did kind of go in. I have to give them a little bit of credit. They gave it they were going hard. They were giving it their all, actually. I got the feeling a lot of them were just kind of letting it all fly in there. And there was some spots that, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, oh, like a Naomi fucking got slammed on the ladder and falls right onto her kidneys. Jesus Christ. That table spot was pretty nice. Usually tables don't break with the women. But that who was it? Chelsea Green. She fucking fell right in the heart of those tables, right in the middle. Very nice, very well done. So yeah, usually I really don't care about women's wrestling. Again, no storyline though, no storyline progression. Not that I care about women's storylines either. What are you gonna do? I'm a sexist. So much easier when you admit it. Let's see. Seth versus Damian Priest. Seth freaking Rollins versus Damian Priest. There's no other way to say that than in the whitest accent ever. Seth freaking Rollins. and Damian Priest. Now, as far as the match, it was whatever. But as far as the storyline, best match of the night, because it was the only match that had any storyline attached to it, any attempt to tell a story, any attempt to weave in stuff that they've been building for the past few weeks. Obviously the Punk and McIntyre thing, but before I get to that, I did like that before the match they had the Finn Balor and Damian having the sort of really tense kind of stare down thing. Or well, it was more Damian gave Finn an order, and Finn, as he was walking away, as Damian was walking away, he kind of like under his breath said, I think he said "Sure thing, boss" or something like that, and kind of just like stared at him intensely. So there's a little bit still lazy as far as storyline telling goes, or storytelling goes, but at least it was something. It was some kind of, seeds being sowed. I thought maybe it could have played into the match somehow, but I don't know, because he basically told him to stay out of it. So the only way that could play in is if they interfered, and that really, I guess the only thing could be them interfering, and then that would be the final like standoff with the Judgment Day. But or at least the culmination, the blow up of the Judgment Day. But it was a very easy storytelling. It wasn't the most amazing storytelling, but I think they definitely did way better with the McIntyre Punk storytelling. Funny enough, it wasn't. It's honestly probably the storyline that needs the least amount of progression. It's probably the storyline that has the most in the past few weeks. But yeah, they basically Drew cashes in. A lot of people are sort of critiquing that Drew cashed in at a stupid moment. That they made him cash in at a stupid moment, but I did like it because the way Drew came out, it was almost like he was so determined and almost angry about everything that's been going on that he wasn't like thinking straight. That's the way I perceived it. I could be, adding context where it doesn't, exist, but I like that he just came out and was like he just was ready to destroy them, which he ended up not. He kind of, was getting his moment, and then that's when Punk came in and ruined the whole thing. But yeah, it was a bit predictable. But it's part of the story that has to be told. Punk had to screw him again in something pretty big, so that now that I guess Punk is back, they can actually have their match. I assume which is gonna happen at SummerSlam. So yeah, pretty much that's about it as far as that. I don't think I missed anything on that, but yeah, it was all right. I was just happy that it was some kind of story being told. It wasn't just a fucking exhibition match. Now, the Bloodline took on the Bloodline 2.0, took on Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens in the most contrived fake chemistry team I've ever seen in my life. These guys, if you told me they were friends in real life, I wouldn't believe you until you showed me a picture with all of them together wearing silly birthday hats. You know what I mean? Like, I have to see that in order to believe it. But yeah, really nothing to really talk about here. It was a fucking exhibition match. No storyline was told. No storyline progression whatsoever. Cue the whoa music. That was it. I think what's the guy used to be Camacho? I can never remember his name because I only think of him as Camacho. Loa, I think. Loa Tonga. Tonga? No, I'm wrong. I just added two names together. Somebody in the chat correct me because I'm a fucking moron. But yeah, it looked like he was the one that wasn't in the match. Looked like he may have like got a concussion or something. I didn't do any research to see if they talked about that yet or let any information out, but he looked like when he took that spot where he it was a suicide dive, I believe. I think I'm right about that, but it was a outside spot from in the ring to outside, and he took a fall, a bump, and it looked like he banged the back of his head on the table, the announcer table. And then after that, he was just kind of like laying there for most of the match. You could see even Solo crawls over to him at one point and starts caressing the back of his head for a second. It was kind of wholesome for a moment, but yeah, and then he completely missed the low blow. He missed his spot at the end. He had to do another low blow because he completely fucked it up. He just looked like he was completely loopy by the end of it, even when he was putting up his one. Yeah. So but again, no storyline, no nothing there. Nothing to really talk about. It was a match. It was another bloodline style match. That's about it. If there was some storyline there and I missed it, somebody tell me because I didn't fucking see it. But yeah, that was pretty much it. It was an exhibition pay-per-view. It was a fucking universal mode on 2K24 fucking pay-per-view match, pay-per-view card. So that's what I'm starting to take away from these PLEs is they're using it as a way to just put on exhibitions. It's the wrestling. Even though Raw and SmackDown have way too much wrestling already and not enough storyline anyway, it's not like they're not payoffs anymore. I don't feel like I was paid off in anything tonight. I keep saying tonight, but last night. I don't feel like there was any kind of and I wasn't looking for like complete blow-offs to feuds. I was looking for just some kind of something. Maybe a Wyatt appearance, something with the Alpha Academy. I mean, that's been one of the biggest stories for how long now since the Wyatts debuted. What was that, 2-3 weeks ago? Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I don't know how to grade these things. Like if I were to give it I guess a rating out of 10, I'd say like a 4 out of 10. And really the 4 is just because the wrestling was good. But the fact that it would get a low rating is because there was no story. There was zero story. So it kind of makes like who wins and loses kind of pointless too. Like who gives a fuck who wins women's Money in the Bank? Like I was glad Stratton won it, but it's like that's just because she's sexy. Nothing to do with her wrestling. Actually, I think she is a pretty decent wrestler. But, other than like, hey, I guess she's new. I know her name. I know her by name. So make her the Money in the Bank winner. And she gets good reactions from crowd. She wins them over, all that. But yeah, I just again, I'm a story guy. And we got no story. That's about it. All right. Well, I guess I'll get out of here. Let me read through these comments, see if you guys left anything. Go ahead and leave some comments if you were thinking anything right now. Let's see. Yeah, they are booking Braun. Oh, let me pull it up on screen. There we go. The Sports Observer. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to the show. Yeah, they are booking Braun Breaker wrong, and why change his entrance song? Old one was okay. Yeah, I really didn't listen to it that much. But then I got so many comments. Pretty much, I would say 70% of the comments I got, and we got over like I would say close to probably 200 comments accumulated from both. I could be a little off on that number, but say like 70% of those comments were saying that he's not getting over because his music sucked. And I was like, okay, it's not great, but it's not so bad it ruins the character. Like it kind of went with the character, to be honest. So I really think that was just an excuse for people who also were claiming that he was getting massive reactions. So if he was getting massive reactions, why do you feel the need to make excuses for why he isn't getting massive reactions? It's like arguing from both sides of your mouth. Doesn't make fucking sense. And that's because, most wrestling fans these days are goddamn idiots. They really are. They're trained seals. You know what wrestling fans are becoming? They're becoming like daytime talk show crowds where they're a bunch of trained seals that'll cheer and applaud when they're told and for what they're told to cheer and applaud. It's like, I think those applaud, cheer, boo signs would actually work with WWE crowds these days. Where if you think about it, back in the day, think about actually putting up an applaud sign in old WWE crowds. They would boo just because, even if they wanted to applaud, they would boo just because you put up a fucking sign. So I get the feeling that these WWE crowds they're so into this indie fanboy booking that Triple H, he's catering to that crowd, that they're becoming, his minions basically, and anything he does is amazing. Anything he does is amazing. And Vince did nothing. Vince did nothing in this business, and Triple H did everything. It's really amazing. It's really amazing, the fucking gaslighting and revisionist history that goes on with wrestling. I tell you, I do a wrestling podcast, and I also do a political podcast. Wrestling fans are way worse than political commentators. Way worse than political media. It really is. It really fucking is. I don't know who I hate worse, indie wrestling fans or liberals. I'm at that point. I really don't know which one I hate worse. Let's see. I probably just alienated a lot of people, huh? Damn. That's what we do. That's what we do. All right. But yeah, that crowd is just horrendous. And then, and they have really like horrible attitudes when you just say something, like for instance, Cody fans, right? Their big thing with me and in my comments is why don't you just can't let people enjoy the wrestling they enjoy. And I'm like, the fucking lack of self-awareness from a Cody fan saying that I can't let people enjoy the wrestling that they enjoy, when they literally had to change WrestleMania 40's ending or entire match card because Cody fans couldn't let people enjoy what the fuck they wanted to enjoy. The Rock had to come up with the goddamn term Cody Crybabies because you bitched and moaned the entire time, while the fucking Bloodline, most people were enjoying that shit. Most people were enjoying it. But you bitched and moaned and you got your way, and look what happened. We have a bore fest happening in the main event. So bad they had to put him in a goddamn 6-man. That's how boring Cody Rhodes is. They had to give him 2 main eventers, bona fide main eventers on either side of him to make him interesting. And then plug him back into the Bloodline story. Fuck that. Fucking useless. Get that title off of him as quick as possible, please. But yeah, I think it's WWE crowds. Like, I guess maybe it's a certain type of crowd isn't as vocal anymore. It's like maybe it's the crowd, the AEW crowd that followed Cody over to WWE that got like like if you watch the behind the curtain, this is why I know it validated everything that I've been fucking saying, that behind the curtain special. And I want to talk about this with Wonder, but I'm going to just say this is that they said it in the special that when they presented The Rock versus Roman, the live crowds pretty much were all in on it. They loved the idea. And then they showed the backlash from Twitter, from a bunch of fucking no picture or picture of anime characters in their profile, fucking bitching about why is it coming when we gotta finish the story. And that's all they showed. That was literally it. And then that toxic fucking energy that they cater to fucking took over. And then the masses fell into it like a bunch of idiots. Because they think that these goddamn indie fanboys, because they're actually really like they're snarky asshole hipsters. So it's like if you go, like I've been to shows before, not a lot of recent time, but I guarantee you this happens a lot, that there's people that there's like this snarky attitude going on with, if it's happening online, it's happening in the crowds, because that's where they get their fucking bravery, is in big mobs. But if you were to go there and boo Cody Rhodes, I guarantee you there's people like screaming at you or looking at you a certain way. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, it's really the most toxic part of the fan base, the most political part of the fan base, and WWE's catering to it, and it's ridiculous. Yeah. Let's see. You said Braun isn't over, and then he puts Braun is over. No, I said this is a major setback. I don't know. I said it took him a few steps back, definitely. I'm saying I don't think oh, you're saying Braun is over as in Braun is over. No, he's not. He's not. You know what? I'll show you. I'll actually show you. I thought you meant Braun is over as in like his career is over. But I'd like you to tell me, how is Braun over when actually, let me show you this. Okay, so this is a clip from July 1st, Raw, fan cam, so I won't get pulled. Tell me, guys, is this a massive reaction for Braun Breaker?
I take nothing away from Braun Breaker and my acknowledgement.
Bro, the majority of that crowd is standing still. The majority of that crowd is not cheering. They're not barking. There was a couple in there. This is not over. This is not over. That crowd is dead. They could give a fuck about him. And I'm mad about that, because again, I'm a Braun Breaker fan. I'm just mad that they're pushing him wrong. If you're telling me this is over, you're a goddamn moron. I did have a clip from last night, but it's not the full clip. I couldn't find it. But last night he didn't come out to anything special. Watch his match with Ludwig Kaiser. See, there you go. Thank you for giving me something. Again, he's getting over in his matches. He's not getting strong reactions for his entrances. What the fuck don't you understand? Tell me how that's a strong reaction. Somebody else, somebody be our tiebreaker here. Was that a strong reaction? It's Def Rebel, that's why. Okay, it's the music. All right, sure thing. It's the music. That's why they've changed his music fucking 4 times since he's been on the goddamn roster. It's not his music, dumb fuck. This music sucks worse than the new music sucks worse than the old music. And the old music wasn't even that bad. You're making excuses. It's Triple H's bad booking. It's booking. Simple as that. Oh, you know what? I think it's because his lights aren't flickering when he comes out. That's what it is. They should flicker a red light when he comes out. That'll get him over. This guy, Mo KF, you represent the dumb fuck side of the fan base that has no idea how to get somebody over or what gets somebody over. Yeah, the music isn't great, but that's not the problem. That's not the problem. Half of WCW had shitty music, shitty generic music, and still got over. But go ahead. What else excuses do you have? All right. Let's see. Regan reactions. Heat Wave, is that that's I guess NXT, right? Yeah, I'm not I don't have time for watching NXT, I'll be honest. Tell me what your rating of Money in the Bank. Everybody give your rating, and then I'll see what your ratings are. Give me your ratings, and then I'll get out of here. Platinum Ham jumping in. Appreciate you, my friend. I think give Braun the right. Sorry, keep forgetting I gotta put it up. I think give Braun the right feud against a very popular babyface, Sheamus or Orton level, and see where we go from there. Go from there. You got it there. There you go. There you go. Yeah, but it's also the way you book him. Like Braun is a special character. He's a special case. You don't book him in long drawn out matches. I don't care if he can do it. That's not the point. More power to him that he can do long drawn out matches, but that's not the style he should be wrestling. It really hinders his style when he does long drawn out matches, these 15-minute fucking matches. He needs to be explosive, right to the point, destruction and domination, at least for the first few months of his career on the main roster, and then you push him into a feud and he dominates feuds. That's the guy that he needs to be, is he dominates feuds, not even just matches. And then you make him a problem, and then you push him into the main guys. I said that his match with Sheamus that he had on Raw should have been his very first competitive match. Sheamus is a guy that you have a problem beating if you're Braun Breaker. That's the type of guy. Drew McIntyre. You might have a problem with him. Listen, Ludwig Kaiser, love the guy. Think he's a great mic man. But Braun Breaker should be breaking right through the motherfucker. Dragunov, I don't know him, but when I'm looking at the two standing next to each other, Dragunov might be great. They shouldn't have put him in front of him. They shouldn't have made him one of his first big feuds. That was a stupid move because nobody knew either of them, really. Again, except people who watch NXT. But me, somebody who's like more of a casual kind of person, casual fan, I guess, former diehard fan, I see those two, and I don't understand why Braun Breaker is having a problem beating him. Why is Braun Breaker having a problem beating Sami Zayn? It looks ridiculous, and it kills and hinders his character. So you said about, again, this is what I'm talking about. You said about destruction, watch his heel NXT run. Nope, not gonna do it. I'm watching the main roster. I'm not gonna watch old footage to make me like him now. Make me like him now. That's their job on the main roster. That's Triple H's job. You don't tell me how great somebody is now by telling me how good they used to be. That's stupid. No offense. I'm sure it was great. I'm sure it was a great heel run. I'm not going to do that again. Even if I go back and watch it, it doesn't change how I feel now. I don't doubt his talent. That's my point, is I think he's very talented and I think he's great, but WWE and Triple H are not booking him right. That's it. Yeah. If you can't understand that, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Mohammed Belhassin, 7 out of 10. Happy late Sunday, late on a Sunday night. Kayfabe Kartel, hope you're doing well, man. And sir, man or sir, why or? How about both? And same with everyone here in the live chat. Mohammed, love the positive energy you're spreading. I appreciate that. You probably couldn't tell by listening to me, but I do love positive energy. I wish you all the best, sir or man. I wish you all the best as well. Thank you. And stop crying, 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. That's pretty high. I'll be willing to bump it up to a 5, but I can't go higher than that. Can't give you any more. Can't give you any more. Again, I'm a story guy. I'm a storyline guy. I can't watch two guys fight in a scripted fight and not know context or have a reason to like it or want to see it. Peter Ortiz, shout out to you, my friend. Longtime supporter of the Misfit Nation and the Kayfabe Kartel. Classic Triple H storytelling, which is basically no storytelling or limited storytelling, as limited as possible. Breadcrumb storytelling. I'm trying to find a term for it that's going to stick. Let's see. Just repeating the same shit happening. Yeah, more or less. More or less. And he agrees Andrade stood out for me. First time that Andrade ever stood out for me. I thought he was amazing in that Money in the Bank. I loved it. And Peter Ortiz also agreeing. I like Braun, but the booking is terrible. And that's the weird thing, is like, you're seeing it in the chat right now. It's like, because I give a couple, I literally said how many times that I love Braun. I think he's great. I think he's talented. I think he's one of the most athletic guys on the roster. But they're not booking him right. They take it as I hate Braun. It's fucking simpleton thinking. It's really stupid simpleton thinking. John Cena, let's see. John Cena shocking return, boost it up despite him retiring in 2025. Yeah, I mean, the John Cena retirement wasn't. I guess I don't have the nostalgia attached to John Cena as much, because I kind of stopped watching wrestling around the time he debuted. I watched his debut, but I was like, it's like becoming like real guys now. So it was kind of boring me. But you know, I started watching again in like 2012, around that time. And you know, I checked in here and there throughout the time, but yeah, John Cena was, I think, in his Superman era at that point. It was like pre-pipe bomb, or right during the pipe bomb. That's when I kind of started watching again. But yeah, there was a point where I started to like Cena. I was one of those people that hated him. I was the one of the people chanting "Cena sucks" at the arenas. But you know, I do appreciate. It's one of those things like that. He's not my favorite guy or any of that. I don't think he's the greatest wrestler ever. But you can't deny that he's one of the biggest stars that ever fucking graced the ring. You don't have to. He doesn't have to be your favorite to admit that. So again, it's just admitting the truth. He's got to be considered one of the greatest to ever do it because of that fact. So yeah, it's you know, it's an iconic career. It's absolutely an iconic career. And you know, interested to see how they end it all. I'm sure it's going to be pretty big. It's got to be. It's got to be pretty big. They did highlight a lot tonight too, as well. The Netflix Raw going to Netflix, and that they're gonna cut loose on Netflix. So I'm actually expecting that, because I do get this feeling, because Triple H does sometimes talk a big game and doesn't really follow through. So that's my thing, is I hope it's not just a bunch of talk to get everybody to go over to Netflix and watch it. But I do hope that they get a little more risque with the language and just the content in general. Like start being a little more controversial. Start offending people again. That's when it was interesting. The last time is now. And a quick question go ahead, ask the question. Platinum Ham. If anybody has questions, you can go ahead. I'll stay on for a little bit, but I'm getting ready to wrap it up. I started to hate Cena when he beat Ray for the WWE title the same night he won it. I was watching that night. I remember that happening. That was right after the pipe bomb, actually. That was, I think, the week after. And then they had a tournament because Punk walked out with the belt. No. That was not right after the pipe bomb. I'm sorry. It was right after he won the title at Money in the Bank and left. And then they had the tournament. Rey Mysterio won the title and held it for like 5 minutes. And then Cena beat him, and then Punk came back. They really compacted a lot into that one episode. They should have, in retrospect, they should have had Punk away for a little bit longer. And I think that's what Punk wanted to do, but WWE, listen, I love Vince McMahon, but he fucked up. He fucked up a lot of shit. I admit that. And Summer of Punk was one of those things. But they say Triple H had a lot to do with fucking that up. Him and his personal animosity with Punk. I love how a lot of people forget all of the Triple H personal shit that got in the way of him being a good leader at the beginning. Let's see. It was the first time I probably cried. Probably the first time I cried like a bitch for wrestling. That's a good question. When did you ever cry like a bitch for wrestling? Ric Flair retirement. That's a big one, right? That's always the go-to. The sorry I love you sweet chin music. Let's see. What's wrong with the referee making a wrong call? And since with Randy Orton and Gunther and had Drew McIntyre not injured CM Punk at Royal Rumble, do you think that the rivalry and feud will... Sorry, I think I read that fucking wrong. Yeah, I think CM Punk's injury, listen, I'll be honest, and I don't wish anything bad on anybody, but I'm just saying, based on what we've been seeing, I believe CM Punk comes back and gets injured pretty quick into he's injury prone. He's been injury prone for the past, since he came back into wrestling, he's been injury prone. He has maybe 2 matches, 3 matches, and then he's injured, if that. So yeah, I don't have a lot of hope for CM Punk's, his run being anything crazy. And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just being honest. I don't think his body is holding up the way it used to. You said if do you think that rivalry and feud will continue? Well, yeah, obviously Punk and McIntyre will continue as long as Punk can stay healthy, but I'm just doubting that. So, But with the referees, I did forget to mention that that spot that got fucked up. But I think that was Damien's fault. He didn't kick out in time. But yeah, I honestly I blame the whole Randy Orton and Gunther thing at the King of the Ring, if that's what you're talking about. I blame that on Triple H, and I'll tell you why. Because he was trying to do the 50-50 booking with that match, where I'm going to protect Randy and I'm going to protect Gunther. And in that match, it should have really been Gunther's moment. It should have been Gunther's almost obviously coronation as the king, but that's what that should have been the symbol of it, is that he really should have dominated Randy Orton. And it should have been a clean victory. It should have been completely clean. It should have been clean and decisive. And the fact is that Triple H, or whoever called this, decided to make it that Gunther kind of pulled it out and won it with a roll up. And the roll up, I think, I forget what it was. It got fucked up or something. And oh no, it was a roll up, but Orton's shoulders weren't actually down. That's what it was. They fucked up the roll up. That wouldn't have happened if they just did the right thing, and you didn't need to protect Randy because he was going into the match with an injury to begin with. So that was the protection for his character, is that he can always say that I lost because I had a knee injury. But they tried to be extra safe with Randy Orton for some reason, Randy Orton's character, and it fucked up Gunther's coronation as king. So it was safe booking that ruined it. It should have been decisive. Should have been completely dominating, actually. Yeah. Let's see. Well, yeah, maybe I'll just end it there. Just end it there. All right. Well, I do appreciate everybody jumping in here, letting me know what you think. Hey, listen, I'm as much as I critique things and I say things, I expect people to argue back with me and critique me back. But at least throw out a fucking argument once in a while. Jesus Christ. That's all I'm saying. Make it fun. Give me something to work with. Fucking A. Yeah. So, whatever you want to put in the comments. If you want to dislike videos, I really don't. I don't care. Honestly, that stuff doesn't bother me. I more focus on the fact that there are comments and there are interactions. And also subscribers. I appreciate people who subscribe to this nonsense. So shout out to you guys. We're growing we're growing, I wouldn't say, rapidly, but we're growing at a nice pace here. I want to try to hit 1,000 by the end of the year. I think it's definitely possible. Get us to 1K over here on the Kayfabe Kartel. We also just hit 6K on the Misfit Nation podcast. That's our political, I guess, pop culture kind of podcast. I don't know if pop culture is the way to put it, but is that even a term anymore? Is that like an outdated term, pop culture? But yeah, that's our political, let's just call it a political podcast. And we react to things and random shit, non-wrestling podcast. If you're into what we do here, but you want to hear our other side. And just like that, just like on wrestling and politics as well. That's why I let shit roll off my back. And I like to debate with people. So it's like I don't mind people being contentious. I'm very contentious myself. I'm confrontational myself. So I expect you guys to be the same. I think it builds for a better content, better fan base. I don't mind if people don't like us, but they subscribe. Please go ahead. I don't use that as a fucking insult. If you want to subscribe just to fucking drop a negative comment every day, Go ahead. But we love the positive comments. Don't get me wrong. I'm not looking for negativity. I'm just trying to tell you that it doesn't bother me. It really doesn't. But yeah, appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody who watches, follows along, who's been subscribed recently. We've been getting some nice comments, some nice messages from people overseas who like what we're doing here at the Kayfabe. Don't worry, we won't change up. Trust me, we've done this on other channels. We're not going to be one of those shows that if we get a little bit of success, we're going to start cleaning it up and talking PC. Fuck that. Suck my dick, faggots. I don't do that. This is the brand. This is the brand, and I will die on this hill. I promise you that. All right. Well, thank you all. Thank you all. I appreciate you. Let me just shout you all out real quick. I was just reading comments. Mohammed. See you guys. Oh, he just left one more. I like him. He's a nice, positive guy. Nice, positive guy here. See you guys and bye for now. And see you guys next time. And sending positive vibes to all you guys. To you guys all. You guys all. All right. A little Midwest slang there. You guys all. All right. Platinum Ham, my brother. Appreciate you. Thank you for everything. Peter Ortiz, same to you, my friend. All the years of support at this point. I feel a level of comfort when I see Peter Ortiz in the chat. And Peter Ortiz as well. Less comfortable when I see Peter Ortiz. But Peter Ortiz, there's a certain comfort I feel when I see you in the chat. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Stop crying, you dickhead. Shout outs to you. I appreciate you. Wait, were you being rude? Oh, yeah. You called me a clown. You called me a clown. So you get that. Shout outs to you, though. I appreciate you jumping in. Mo KF, you dickhead, too. You were the first dickhead in the chat tonight. Yeah. You I like a little less because you were trying to gaslight. Like I can't fucking see and I can't hear. You literally watched along and saw a dead reaction and pretended it was great, and then you started blaming the music. But, you know, I forgive you and I love you anyway. You dickhead. Reeking Reactions, my brother. My brother in this game. Shout outs to you. I sound like I'm doing a fucking speech. I'm gonna go off myself after this. Maybe I will after that pay-per-view. But it was a 7 out of 10. If it was a 7 out of 10 to me, I wouldn't be so down on it. Tell me some fucking story. That's all I'm asking. King. I don't know what that is. Like some Arabic writing and then king. Yeah. Well, Arabic writing makes me nervous every time I see it, but shout outs to you. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. WWE SummerSlam, Roman Reigns returns. Yeah, I think that's where we're seeing it. Definitely. Especially after what they did to Paul. Poor Paul. After they did to Paul, again, as soon as I saw that, I was like, yes, Roman's coming back. Now, that's going to be a pop. That's going to be a reaction. So Mofo or whatever the fuck your name is, Mo KF, compare that to a Braun Breaker entrance. What you're going to see. That's going to be a reaction. The Sports Observer. Appreciate you, my friend. This is, I believe, the second time we've seen Sports Observer. The Sports Observer. We actually shouted you out in our last live because you actually made the suggestion that he should name himself Bronson. I almost said Strowman. Bronson Steiner. So we gave you credit because we repeated that idea. David Rosca. No, I don't think I've ever seen you before. David Rosca. Shout outs to you. Appreciate you, my friend. All right. Well, I'm out of here for real this time. Again, thank you guys for watching. I'm out of here. Oh, subscribe, Misfit Nation. Subscribe, Kayfabe Kartel. Shop MisfitNation.com. Go ahead and get some shirts and coffee cups. America's Most Dangerous merch. For America's Most Dangerous podcast, this has been the most dangerous podcast in sports entertainment. Shout outs to Wonder. Shout out to Skrill Kill. We are out of here. I'm out of here. Fuck off.
This is a Misfit Nation production.
You want to be in front of the cartel?
Ladies and gentlemen, making their way to the studio, they are